Go ahead and call this meeting to order. It is the 8th day of February, 2024. We are in the district courtroom in the Aransas County Courthouse, and this is a special meeting. I'm going to do a roll call.
Commissioner Cheney.
Here.
Commissioner Casterly.
Here.
Commissioner Russo.
Here.
Commissioner Dupnick.
Here.
Judge Cutler.
I'm here, so we've got a full court. Thank you all for being here. Section 4, items for deliberation and for action. We have a couple of items before we get to the courthouse construction, but I'll entertain a motion for item number 1.
Move to approve sending a letter of support from the Commission of Aransas County, Texas for the Gulf of Mexico Sea Grant Program's proposal entitled Accepting the Challenge, Equipping Community Action Teams to Strengthen Gulf Coast Resilience through the Climate and Resilience Community of Practice to be submitted to NOAA Climate Resilience Regional Challenge.
I second that.
Got a motion, got a second. Any discussion?
Well, I brought this forward as a request from some of the folks that are with the stormwater and the pathways program. And also that we're active in the Arbor Day celebration this year. And basically, this will allow us to participate in requesting grants as they're available. This particular program that's cited will be decided within the next week or two, and that's why they asked for a letter of support quickly. They will be giving out 10 $50,000 grants for the first one, which I think comes to 500,000. But there will be more programs and more grants that are available. And this would be partnering with Texas A&M and then a few other universities along the Gulf Coast. But they're not looking for any money from us.
No further discussions on both.
Commissioner Cheney.
Aye.
Commissioner Casterly.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo.
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick.
Aye.
Judge Cutler.
Aye, passes 5 with no opposition.
Thank you.
Item number 2.
Move to approve a memorandum of understanding with the U.S. Marshal Service in which the Marshal Service agrees to reimburse Aransas County for up to $21,901 in overtime expenses related to Aransas County deputies serving warrants.
I'll second that.
Got a motion, got a second.
Now, is this a reimbursement or is this go forward?
This is a reimbursement for only the overtime expenses.
Okay, I knew that's what I said, but I knew the sheriff was talking about it and I didn't understand whether that was money that he's in our expense, it's going to be reimbursed for.
No, sir. Going forward. Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes, sir.
And I'm sure it's specifically for their warrants.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Michael, did you want to say anything or no?
No, this is just for, the service that our deputy Matt Downing assists with the U.S. Marshals and, executing felony warrants, whether it's our, outside sources that, the marshals are assisting another agency.
Thank you, Chief.
Commissioner Cheney.
Aye.
Commissioner Casterly.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo.
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick.
Aye.
Judge Cutler.
Aye, passes 5-0. All right, we're gonna go to item number 3, which is just a discussion. It's gonna deal with the change order for Teal Construction, reduce county seal size and location. I believe Mark is online and will speak to this.
Is he online?
Hello, Judge Garza. Good afternoon, commissioners. This is Mark Williams from Broadus. I just want to say that we've received several change orders. This one is particularly interesting in that we're cutting the size of the steel down. It was intended to go in the floor. We think that we may have a trip hazard here, so we sized it down, and I believe it's going to be wall mounted. I think this is probably an appropriate cost. We've reviewed it and looked at it. Paul with PGAL, I believe, has reviewed it, or either saying with PGAL has also reviewed it. And I believe this is probably where we need to go with this. Any
Right, basically, commissioners, there was a seal on the floor. And it wasn't flush, so it looked like it could have been a safety trip hazard. So we're gonna reduce the size, we're gonna mount it on the wall in the lobby.
And I want to thank Renee Butler and El Morales along with Mark for bringing this to the attention of that group, that this was a trip hazard before we went to the expense of putting it in, having an accident, and then having to do this. So good work.
So this is gonna be, this is not gonna be a cost to the county to do this.
Savings of 4,000 plus or minus.
And we will actually draft a formal change order to come before the judge for signature at a later date, once this gets approved by the commissioners.
That's forthcoming.
Okay.
Right.
We'll move on to item number 4. It's another change order 85 from Teal Construction to install a light above the time capsule.
Yes, Judge Garza, we believe this cost is a little extravagant. The architectural plans show a light. However, the electrical drawings do not show a light. And so there was no circuit provided in the electrical drawings for that light. Teal wants, I think, $4,500 or so to add a light, which we think is exorbitant. I don't think we need to approve this change order at this time.
And my understanding is that the time capsule is more or less a safe.
That's right. It's not something that is something beautiful to look at, certainly.
Okay.
It's more utilitarian, and frankly, it doesn't warrant an exhibit light over it.
Right. That's what I understood. Thank you.
How big is it? How big is the time capsule?
I can speak to that if you'd like. It's currently at the airport in one of our storage closets. It's a Holland safe, it's a gun safe. And doesn't have the digital combination. It's got just a hand dial, because you don't have to put batteries in it, but it's 59 inches tall, 3 feet wide, and 26 inches deep. And the opening, I viewed the opening. This is Mike here speaking, by the way. I'm on the Sesquicentennial Committee is what I'm representing with respect to the time capsule. But the opening is about a 1/16 of an inch wide enough that we should be able to get this thing in there. The issue, and I talked to Justin the other day with Teal after the tour. There's a threshold on the opening, so you got to go in over the threshold and then set the safe down. I think we're gonna need to build that up. I don't think you can't have hands on the safe getting it in. You got to slide it. So I think the safe mover, when he comes to install it, will be able to do that. As long as the floor is flush with the threshold as it's currently built up. So that was one issue that I identified right away just after having viewed the site. It's the first time I've seen it. It's close to whether or not it's going to fit. By my measurement, it'll fit by about 1/16 of an inch once you get it in there. But another thing that I felt was worth discussion is once the safe is in there, it's not going to fill the entire void. When you slide it all the way to the back wall, you'll have 10, 12 inches in front of the safe, and then a few inches, 8, 10 inches on the side. So if you covered it with glass, whether or not you have a light on it or not, I don't think you're going to keep the dust and dirt out. And I think that it's worth looking at to have some kind of be able to open that glass to clean the glass inside and out, but also to dust the safe in.
Are you gonna be able to open the door with 1/16 of an inch?
On the safe,
You're not supposed to open it for how many years?
well, yes.
We won't.
Yeah.
But the safe, the door doesn't go all the way to the bottom of the safe. There's it has the door is smaller than the overall size of the safe. I think it'll be fine. Eventually when they open it, they'll be able to, the opening will provide enough space for the door to the safe to come open. But I'm just speaking more to the how you get, we should be able to get in there and have access to clean it. It's a safe, so I don't think that just because the custodial staff having the ability to get into the safe doesn't somehow violate the purpose for, for having the time capsule there. I don't think the room itself is the time capsule, the safe is the time capsule. And we used a safe, and I realize that may be atypical, but that was at after consulting folks that have been here for a long time, that have seen time capsules in the past, and every time you put one underground, no matter what it's in, it gets water in it.
That's right.
So, Holland Safe out of Corpus Christi, offered to give us a safe for this. That's a $2,000 safe. They didn't want any consideration for it other than their name is on the safe. But I take a little exception, with the comments from Broadus that, it is something to look at. I think it's a beautiful safe. It's cobalt blue. It's one of their showpiece safes. It's their highest dollar safe. It's got some beautiful chrome, fixtures on it. And I think that if it's kept polished and has a little accent light on it, that it's going to be beautiful and people are going to look at it for years to come. The proposal about the light, I do agree, that's an exorbitant amount of money to spend on an accent light. However, Elle and I talked. Elle said that she found a little LED light that we could put in there for an accent for a year until Teal no longer has the warranty obligation on the building. And then Renee's department could then, or Sesquicentennial Fund still has some money in it. We could get a contractor to put in a light that'll shine on it for the next 49 years after that.
Okay, and I would point out that although Mark said he thought it was 4,500, what it says on here is 5,450, which is pretty close to 5,500.
That's right. Just right.
Well,
Change order for the price is listed for four, roughly, and some dollars, but the real cost of that change order is gonna be $2,480. The added cost is for the GCs because they're behind substantial completion. So the price is cheaper if we figured out what the GC cost would be.
I think staff recommendation, or I'm not speaking for Renee, I'll let you speak for yourself, but I think that I think I am speaking for Elle when I say that the most cost effective way to do it is to do an LED light for the first year that's got that they swap out with a rechargeable base, and then hire the contractor over Renee's department to hang a light in there after the 1 year warranty.
One other thing to mention is I believe the safe will need to sit on a pedestal. Is that not correct?
Yeah, sir, that was the initial observation that I had in looking at it, that there's no way to keep hands on the safe as it goes into the enclosure. It'll have to be slid in there. And so to do that, the floor will have to be even with the threshold. We'll have to it'll have to be built up, or the threshold will have to come out and keep it at ground level. And then whatever the flooring is in the courthouse, I imagine would just extend into the enclave, and the safe would just go right in onto it. So if it were up to me, I'd take the step out. I would take the threshold out and just slide the safe in on the floor.
The safe doesn't have any adjustment. I've got one of those safes, and it seemed to me like it had some bolts that you screwed out to.
You could probably put footings on it, and I think that'd probably be an acceptable option, just to get it off the ground if you wanted to be worried about rust.
I remember when we put mine on something that was slick, like a piece of metal or something.
Oh, to get it in there, I
That we could slide it on and then pull that out after the fact, because you could kind of rock it.
Yeah, I don't think that'll be a problem. I think when we get it in there, it'll be pretty easy to get in with the safe mover, and then, like I said, using techniques like that, but trying to get it in over that threshold, I think that's ambitious, and we're gonna damage something. I'd just rather take the threshold out. And I apologize that we didn't know about this before. I thought this was originally what I saw months and months ago before this was built in. It was gonna be an enclave without a threshold.
Now, where's it gonna be located?
As Soon as you walk in, the double doors, up the steps there, it's gonna be about your 1 o'clock position.
Okay.
Up against the wall. So the seal will be on the left side of that. The plaque, which we can talk about in a minute, we think ideally would be directly above the time caps. Or on the wall side of it, probably above.
So we're not voting on this, we're just discussing today.
Well, undoubtedly will be a change order if that threshold is.
That's not on the agenda to prove.
Correct.
Right.
You're right, that's vote on it, but that's something we have to say, we have time on that. We can put it on the agenda. I'll talk to Ellen about that.
But actually, we were just talking about the light today, not the threshold, but apparently we need to discuss the threshold.
This diagram on this previous one, we're looking at change order 84. It had a diagram that shows where the steel would go in, also the time capsule, I believe. So you can look on the graph, on the back of that page.
I believe it's a different wall, Commissioner.
Really?
Is that,
Well, this,
is the seal going on the same wall as the time capsule?
No, it's one of those doors to the left. I've got you.
Well, what is
but the
this?
same wall,
But
Opposite side of the room is.
there's a little enclave to the 1 o'clock position.
As a citizen, may I ask a question?
Yes.
If this is a rotor to rotor, you know, you've got a dial in that's code to open it. Who keeps that so that it's available 50 years from now?
That it's gonna be passed down from county judge to county judge, and I believe,
Misty's gonna keep it on file.
She's off.
It'll be kept on file with county clerk's office, but, I think there's some.
I'm online.
oh, it's even online.
I'm online. Yes, I did know about that and it will be kept.
And sir, can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Oh, Skip Carrier, 122 Cedar Ridge, Rockport.
Appreciate it, Skip.
Maybe Ruth will have, be still around. She cracked one for me.
They open.
All right, we're gonna move on to discuss verbiage, size and location of the time capsule plaque. Which commissioners, you have this is time capsule plaque?
Yes.
Correct, okay.
Judge, if I can say something, we also have a time capsule plaque already made and approved, and y'all have paid for. That was approved by the county.
Okay,
It's not accurate, again, sincerely apologize for however that happened, but it says open Memorial Day 2071 and Memorial Day has no significance with respect to the county statutes. And it's September 18th, I believe. So it's unfortunate that money's on next before we had a chance to flag, but the good thing is, if there is a silver lining, is that the Sesquicentennial Fund has money to build the plaque, have the plaque made, and we can do that. We won't call the county anymore, but unfortunately did the money already,
okay,
but they can recycle it.
okay, so the verbiage you have in front of you, commissioners, is the verbiage on the new plaque.
That's just about, Sam Stranahan, Betty Stiles and I both reviewed it, looked at it. The only change I think that we thought needed to be made was instead of county judge was Burt Mills, county judge was C.H. Burt Mills is what we should have on.
All right, do you have a cost for that? Will that be a change order? Y'all gonna buy it?
Well, we're gonna buy the plaque, but we'll need somebody to fix it to the wall, and I talked to Justin just briefly about that, and probably need to screw it to the wall as opposed to glue, and then, which mean, I don't know if they can provide the drill hole, the recess at the foundry that's gonna make it, we're envisioning it's gonna be a brass plaque. But if they can do that at the foundry, then great. If not, then we need to have the hole professionally drilled where they look good. And put it on. And then there's some question about whether, whichever wall you put it on, you gotta hit stud with it, so maybe be still blocking these to take place. I don't know how they were planning on fixing the previous plaque that it's already been created, and then or where they intended to put it. But I would imagine if there's a spot that they intended to put black plaque, their plaque can go there as well. But if, you know, all things considered equal, I think it would go above the time capsule on that wall.
do you know, Heaven, what size plaque was ordered previously?
It's going to be 2 feet by 1 and 4 inches. It's a very large,
2 feet by,
1 and 4 inches.
That's, no, I think it's 2 foot by 1 foot, isn't it?
But it has an inch on each side for,
I mean, how tall is it?
it's 1 by 4.
1 foot 4 inches? Okay, gotcha. So, yeah, 16 inches tall.
Evan, this is Paul Bonnet. I'm sorry, this is Paul Bonnet, Judge and Commissioners with PGAL. So this, are we saying that this plaque has already been fabricated?
Correct.
Yes, that's what Heaven said.
Okay.
And do you know where the placement was going to be? I mean, is that a size that you all with the sesquicentennial can go with that size and then?
Something like that. We've got a lot of words to fill on there. I mean, we've got to consider font, but that's the target size. That 16, 18 inch by 2 feet. All right. So I think the question was still, where did they intend to affix it? That should be the place where there's blocking in the wall to be able to hold.
So regarding the time capsule plaque, since the time capsule got bigger, there was a set to the right of the time capsule where it was gonna go. But this plaque doesn't fit there anymore, so what they intended to do is put it on top.
Above?
Above, yes.
Okay, thank you, Heaven.
We're gonna move on to item number 6, that's update commissioners on the progress of the new courthouse. And I believe, Mark. Get it.
Yes, I've got some notes that Elle wrote, and she and I have been in conversation about some of the things we'd like to report. One of them is the insulation issue in the attic that we've been discussing. We have planned for next week 2 or maybe 3 vendors to come in and review the site conditions for this attic insulation installation. So this meeting will kind of shed some light on the conditions and how that affects their price. So we're looking at 3 vendors, maybe 2, depending on how many people we can get to show up. But that happens sometime next week, and I don't think we've established a firm date yet at this time, but that's one of the items we've got ongoing. The other item is change order 86, which is the district clerk's request for alternate power sources for their desk. I think the plans called for a short pony wall and the desk to be butted up to the wall, which had power and data in them. However, that's been requested to be deleted, and power poles installed in the areas that do not have public view, and the areas that do have public view, we're looking at it's a basically under carpet data power source that runs over to the desk that are in view of the public. So 2 alternatives, and we're looking at a change order cost. We haven't discussed this in our owners meetings at this time, so that's yet to be done. But that's one item. The other item is the signage. Some of it is apparently incorrect, and we've got to work on some of that to get that changed. The jail doors, we did get the change directive signed. So the shop drawings are beginning for that work. And the shop drawings take, I think, about 2 weeks or maybe a week. Heaven, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but then after that, they go to PGAL for review and approval. And then once they're approved, then the order actually takes place. And I believe there's a lead time of several weeks or several months to get this actually built and back on the job site.
Mark, has anybody talked to the manufacturer and see if there's any better alternative than the way y'all are going on it right now? As far as
Uh,
ripping everything out and putting new ones in, I mean,
Maybe
This,
they could come in and do some custom work. Like see what's there and how they could change the doors, make the doors compliant without having to rip everything out.
those doors are just don't meet the requirements that are set by the Texas Jail Commission. And Paul, you probably can speak a little bit more intelligently about the type of door that goes in there, if you would.
Yeah, so they're required by the jail standards folks to be detention grade, which means, basically a jail door. So the doors and frames that were in the documents previously, I don't think there's any way to modify them to get them to work.
that's why I'm saying it'd be a good option to call the manufacturer and get them
I have-
online, because they're the ones that know how to build the doors. All y'all
Well,
are
they-
doing is looking at drawings and seeing how to put them in. So,
I have talked to the manufacturer, so that the manufacturer's sweeper, and I know, they've built the other detention doors that are going into the project, so.
Basically, if you look
they're-
at the doors going into the jail cells, that's the door that goes in the courthouse. So it's not anything like you would normally see in a commercial building establishment.
I understand that, but the people who make it, I'm sure know more about those doors than y'all do, either one of you. So why shouldn't you involve them in the conversation?
Oh, they're deeply involved.
Maybe it'll help us not have to do so much demo. They could just come in, take a look and say, oh yeah, we can work with what's there.
Well,
Just not.
there have been a lot of, Commissioner Casterline, that there have been a lot of discussions behind the scenes. We have talked to the manufacturer. We have had conference calls with Teal and their mason and their subcontractor to really try to reduce the cost of this as much as possible, and we have. But essentially, the frames that are in place right now in the masonry, they're going to be cut out. We're going to really try to limit the amount of additional masonry work that is needed. But, the frame and the door in these 4 locations does need to be a detention grade door, according to the jail standards folks. We did go down there a few months ago and met with them to go over each of the situations that we're talking about, to make sure that, yes, they were going to require a detention grade door in those locations. We did get them to, back off on a few of them and not require as many as their initial letter had indicated. But the process now is they're going to do their shop drawings, hopefully here as quickly as possible. We're going to review those as quickly as possible and get them approved so that we can get them into production.
Well, didn't we know that whenever we first started, that we were gonna have jail grade doors, or was the law different, or? Why are we so far into
They have jail gate doors, they just installed the ones that swung the wrong direction. Isn't that right?
Well, there's
So
I'm
I'm
sorry,
sorry, this is Chief Deputy Brooks with the Sheriff's Office. I was there at the meeting in Austin with the jail commission. It's not the question on the door, it's the direction that they were going.
The swing.
To swing out.
Yeah.
The door was supposed to be the detention grade door from the worst. The door should have been that way from the day of the initial drawing, not now.
Well, I think, isn't the door, it's the right door, it just swings the wrong way?
Not the door I seen there the other day, wooden door. You can't have a wooden door there.
Oh,
The door downstairs is referring to coming in the Sally Port has to be a solid metal door. It doesn't have to be a detention grade door. So that door, the only 2 doors have to be detention grade, or the 2 upstairs. They go from the jail into the courtrooms. So changing all these other doors to detention grade is not correct.
Well, if I may, this is Paul Bonnet with PGAL again. There are a number of different situations, so it depends on which door we're talking about. There was a particular door that they wanted to swing the opposite direction. That was, I don't think it was initially designed as a detention grade door. There were the two doors up on the second floor that you mentioned are the doors from the holding area to the courtrooms. We have, and I personally have done other projects where that was not required to be a detention grade door. So, but in this case, the jail standards folks are requiring them. So, there's a long history behind a lot of this, and we have done our best to discuss all of each situation with the jail standards folks to make sure that they are requiring this.
So how many total doors are we dealing with? Just two?
On the detention grade doors, there are 4. 2 on the second floor.
Gonna have to
And
change
2
all 4 of them?
Yes.
Have to change all 4 of them?
Correct. There,
What's it-
the one exterior door that we're dealing with is it was an aluminum door with glass, and they wanted that to be a solid door with no glass in it. So I believe the frame can stay, but we're just changing out the door itself, door and hardware.
So what are we estimating that? What's the estimated cost to do these changes? Do we know yet?
We have reviewed and gone back and forth on the pricing a little bit. I believe with the 4 detention grade doors, we were looking at about 45,000, if I remember right.
Per door?
Which is
Is that
Per door?
total for the 4 doors. And that's the subcontractor cost. So, but we are still working through those costs. We did issue a construction change directive only on the detention grade doors, so we could get the subcontractor moving and hopefully improve the delivery date.
So whenever we go to change these, how long is that going to delay the opening of the courthouse? Because I would assume all that's got to be fixed before we open, right?
Right.
Correct.
The lead time on the floors are 16 weeks roughly, up and minus, after we get the approved submittal.
So at least 4 months.
And the installation
Well,
time, he
I-
was saying at the last meeting was a little longer than what it sounds like when you hear it, I believe. I think one of your people talked about the installation time on.
Well, Heaven, I think
Maybe that
they're
was the elevator.
quoting.
That was about the
Yeah, that was the other.
Elevator.
elevators, 4 week versus 5 week timeframe.
Again, I'm going off of, the jail commission. What they sent us that needs to be corrected is door E107 will be upgraded to an HM solid door with no window, which is the entry door into the side door. Then the only other 2 doors they mentioned are door A144 and A150, which will be upgraded to a detention door that swing outwards. It's only 2 doors they said we have to, or 3 doors they said we have to correct. 2 of them are detention, the other is just a solid door with no window.
No, there's the door that goes downstairs into the elevators, that's supposed to swing out. And that one needs to be changed too.
I don't have anything on here, but I don't believe that needs to be a detention door.
I
I thought they said that was a solid metal door.
okay.
Well,
We'll look
I
at
believe
that.
you're talking, I believe you're talking about the same doors there, that there's one door into the elevator, basically the prisoner elevator lobby. And then the other door that they're requiring to be detention grade goes into the quote unquote sally port that goes outside. But the the jail commission also required us to make those second floor doors from the holding area to the courtroom's detention grade also.
Well, I'm concerned that Michael has a list showing 3 doors. And you are saying more doors, and I don't even know if you all are agreeing on the doors. So this is kind of scary that we're talking about this and we're not even sure which doors are going to be replaced or what the cost might be. And Jackie, as the auditor, did you have an idea? Because did you go to that meeting also in Austin?
No.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you had.
To answer the commissioner's question about cost, they're still negotiating. There was a number thrown up and it was upwards of 200,000
That's what I thought.
to fix everything. To be in compliance, but we are still negotiating that cost. But I would suspect it'd be close to that number.
Well, you know, I'm bothered. I know that the courthouse has so many details and everything, but this is a major detail that we should have known going in, or has there been a change from the time we started the program to now to change the direction of it? Those $200,000 is a lot of money to say, whoops, we just did it. What's the other one? Steve Brooks, what's your take on that?
I would have had the understanding that that is a jail up there and has the problem with the standards of the jail commission. And that being a jail, it would have the detention doors nowhere to go upstairs. The portion downstairs coming in and going out is a different animal, but according to the jail standards, the one downstairs, we just have to change the door that comes in from the outside to a solid metal door to the door with windows. The 2 upstairs should be a detention door, and from what I've seen, they're wooden doors that still swing in, and yeah, that would definitely need to be changed. The other doors I thought were supposed to be solid metal doors the same, that was my understanding. And just coming from what the Texas Jail Commission sent after the meeting that needed to be corrected, it only mentions 3 doors on here. And this is from the Texas Jail Commission.
We'll look into that, chief. We'll look into that. All right, do we want to tackle another? Mark, what's next on that list?
Hey guys, so there's another issue that that's come up that Elle and I've been discussing. It's the need to add 2 doors at JP1 and JP2 to close off the corridor and also to add power for their printers. There is a little bit of a problem because part of that has to be a bulletproof wall, and it's going to be expensive. So that's one item that we're looking at. It has not been sent to Teal at this time for pricing, but we're looking at actually where this needs these doors, exactly where they need to go, and exactly how we can get power into these areas without expending too much cost. So we're looking at above ceiling J boxes and so forth to see if we can tap into some of this stuff and get a location that's satisfactory to the JP. Another item is
Well, real quick, Mark, I'm sorry, Commissioner had a question.
Yep.
Now, in the JP courtrooms, we have the exit door for the judge. Isn't that required now for all judicial things to have an exit door for the judge in case of an issue?
I'm not sure about that. We could probably ask Paul if he has recollection of that information.
The reason I say that, I wasn't involved in it by any means, but I was talking about that, after they had the last, or one of the last attacks in the courtroom, and they were, I think our district judge was talking to me about this, that they are required now to have an exit, a judge's exit door. I don't know if that ever came through or whatever. I know they were talking about that.
Well, there are exit doors immediately behind the judge's bench
Okay.
in the building.
Let's stick to the item at hand, though. So y'all familiar with the design, you got the horseshoe. Right now, it's designed to be like one open area. So it's basically two different offices in one area. So we gotta add doors to it to secure each side. And that's what Mark was referring to earlier. So we're gonna have to add walls, add wire.
And Mark, could I ask the question, which room is this in relation to again?
It's the horseshoe area. The JP's windows.
Clerk windows.
A152.
Yeah, I'm looking up the plan now, pulling it up so I can maybe show that on my screen.
So it's the public windows. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think this is probably something that I need to review with you all and Mark and Elle.
Right. Yeah. Like I said,
Exactly what you're talking about. I haven't,
right.
From an architectural standpoint, we haven't discussed this one yet.
Right. This is very early on. It's something that Elle got from the.
Okay.
I'll let y'all get on that. All right.
So,
Mark, the next one.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So that has not been sent to PGAL or PGAL for review yet at this time. So one other thing or a couple other things I'd like to mention is Broadus has reviewed the construction schedule that Teal has put out, and we've been in negotiations with Teal regarding the delta between the base scope and the TJS scope and completion date. So that's still underway. We've made some headway. I think Teal understands our position, and we are kind of getting a feel for what they're looking at. So that's moving forward, and that involves that Texas jail standard item we mentioned earlier with the cost of over $200,000. Another thing is we have reviewed the change order for extended general conditions. We've taken the schedule and dissected it and reviewed it in terms of basic scope and extended general conditions. And we've reviewed all the change orders and the request for additional time. We've sent comments back just yesterday to Teal. So they're digesting that, and we're going to get into another conversation after they've had time to review that information. But
Mark,
that's all.
do you have an estimate of when that next conversation will be?
I'm sure it'll be the first of next week, because that item's pretty hot topic for all of us.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
All right. That is all. Well, no, I'm sorry. We got one more.
I wasn't gonna let you forget it.
I'll entertain a motion for
Move to approve accounts payable, payroll liability.
Sounds like an action.
Did we get a list?
You probably did not get a list because it is one check.
Oh, all right.
It is one check where we're gonna transfer funds from our venue tax to the INS, the venue, the 2011 venue tax to pay for our bonds. They are actually due next week, and we want to make sure that we can transfer the funds to cover the payment. And it got missed with the ones that we did last time.
Thank you.
So did we get a second?
Yeah, Jack. I think Jack.
Okay. All right, let's go to this.
Commissioner Cheney.
Aye.
Commissioner Capelli.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo.
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick.
Aye.
Judge Dodd.
All right, before we adjourn, I'm gonna still keep this weekly meeting. I was thinking of not doing it. Well, I'll let you know. The point is that I didn't want because there's a lot of submittals come in, and a lot of things that gotta get approved. I didn't want Commissioners Court to be the bottleneck. So, waiting every 2 weeks for a meeting, so we'll play it by ear, and if y'all can't make it, I hope you can, but we'll try to give you as much notice as I possibly can. All right?
But for now, we're thinking Thursdays at 1:30.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Take a motion to adjourn.
so moved.
Commissioner Cheney.
Aye.
Commissioner Castro.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo.
Aye.
Commissioner Dukenyak.
Aye.
Aye, thank you.